Hi, my name is Christina Sell, and this is a Yoga Tips Tune-Up. We're going to do a very quick fix inversion practice. I developed this practice with students who are wanting to get their inversion practice up, but felt so overwhelmed. And I said, here's how you can do it in 10 minutes a day. My cat's going to join us. We are going to do a shoulder stand and plow pose. I like to use props, so I already have mine folded. Those are good things to start with. They won't take time later. Okay, first pose, child's pose. Bring your knees a little bit back behind your hips, a little wider than your hips, and touch your toes together behind you. Bring your hips back to your heels. Push your hands down and forward, and move your navel in. Breathe deeply. As you inhale, come up to all fours with strong, straight arms. Turn your toes under, lift your hips up and back. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Exhale. I don't know if you guys can relate to some of this cat attention in your own living room doing these things, but they seem to like yoga a lot. We'll see how this goes together. Push down and forward. Stretch your hips back. Okay, walk your feet forward to your hands for Uttanasana. Let's do this first one with your feet separated hip distance apart. Clasp your elbows over your head and pull through your elbows to lengthen your spine. If you're stiffer in your hips, go ahead and keep your fingertips down on the floor. Or if you feel any stiffness come to your back as a result of this overhead arm position, then certainly you would want to support yourself with bent knees and with your fingertips on the floor or on blocks. Release your hands, place them on your hips, squeeze your shoulders towards one another, lift your chin up, inhale and come on up. With your exhale now, step your left foot to the left, wiggle your feet wide, and stretch your arms out over your head for Prasarita Padottanasana. Set arms out to you over your head, take them out to your sides, and then back behind your body. Inhale, lift your chest, stretch the fronts of your shoulders, firm your legs, and as you exhale, fold forward. Release your hands to the floor. Inhale, extend your spine. And walk around to your right to a lunge. And step your right foot back to downward facing dog pose. Lower your knees to the floor. Next pose is headstand, Shirsasana. If you need a wall, then you want to do this right by a wall so you have support. Place your forearms down on the floor and interlace your fingers. Turn your toes under behind you and lift your hips up. At this point, keep your head up. Inhale. And as you exhale, move your upper back in and walk your feet in closer toward your body. As your hips get more and more vertical over your shoulders, push your forearms down and then place your head down into the cradle of your fingers. Might stay here for half headstand. Or push through your forearms, bend your knees to your chest, and slowly slide your feet up an imaginary wall or an actual wall behind you so that you can take a few moments to balance here, Shirsasana. Push your forearms down, lift your shoulder blades away from your ears, tighten your kneecaps, squeeze your legs toward one another, and bring your inner ankle bones nice and close together so the inseam of your legs is established well to help you with your balance. Push your forearms down, push through the top of your head, lift your shoulders up. Slowly slide your feet down that imaginary wall, bringing your heels toward your hips, and then bring your knees to your belly. Keeping your knees to your belly, squeeze them toward one another, and lower your feet to the floor gently. Then rest for a moment in child's pose, lifting your chin out of your chest and look straight out toward your hands. Walk your hands back, bend your elbows up and your shoulders towards one another. Inhale, come on up. Wonderful. Next pose, Halasana and Sarvangasana. Bring your blankets so that you have them set up in a nice stack. Set yourself up so that you're just a couple inches from the edge of your blanket stack. Bring your knees into your chest and like a backward somersault, roll over to Halasana and separate your feet a little wider than your hips, like Prasarita Padottanasana. Much in that same way here, interlace your hands back behind your back and walk your shoulders underneath you. Press your hands down toward the floor, lift your chest toward your chin. And if your hamstrings are tighter, you may need to bend your knees a little bit or elevate your feet, putting them on a chair back behind you. Now, bend your elbows and place the palms of your hand on your back. Walk your feet together. Putting some weight into the palms of your hands, bring your thighs into your belly and your heels to your hips. Now there's that imaginary wall again. Slide the soles of your feet right up along that imaginary wall until your legs are straight. Your goal here is to work towards straight at your ankle, your hip, and your shoulders. The straighter you get, the more the demand for the flexibility in the front of the shoulders comes, and the more pressure comes through your neck. So if you have to be a little bit bent at your waist at first to get used to this position, it's totally okay. You can do more like a half shoulder stand. It's less neck intensive, and you can build your strength and familiarity in that way. Now, as though your feet are on that imaginary wall, slide them down back behind you, bringing your heels toward your hips. Then bring your thighs to your belly. Release your hands from your back and slowly, one vertebrae at a time, roll yourself down. And lower your hips last. Once your hips are down, stretch your legs out straight. Now with your legs straight, bend your elbows onto your blankets, lift your chest up, lift your chin up, and balance very gently on the top of your head, but put most of the weight for this variation on your elbows. And slowly release that. And rest with your head and shoulders for a moment on your sticky mat. Make sure that you're on the same level. Then gently roll to one side. Inhale and come on up. Okay, that's a lot of work towards your inversions between the forward bends and the actual headstand and shoulder stand. And the most important thing to do if you want to work on inversions is to do them regularly,
but do them for short amounts of time so that you can build your strength in your neck and in your shoulders and your arms slowly without any damage or danger coming to those fragile neck muscles. A little bit can go a very long way. Namaste.